The space station Velmer Prime floated quietly in the dark ocean of stars. Inside it lived many powerful beings from across the galaxy. But among all of them, one name created both fear and respect: Lady Zyra. She was an alien mistress of rare beauty and sharp mind. Her skin shimmered like silver under soft light, and her eyes glowed with a calm blue fire. She owned treasures that many worlds would go to war for, yet she trusted no one. No one. Except one human. His name was Ryan Hall. Ryan was her bodyguard. A human from Earth, not tall like the giants of Orion, not strong like the warriors of Dracos, but there was something about him that made even proud aliens step aside. He stood straight. He spoke little. And when danger came, he did not hesitate. For Lady Zyra, Ryan was only a guard. Or at least that is what the galaxy believed. But today, something was different. Lady Zyra stood inside her private treasure chamber. The walls were made of dark crystal, glowing softly. In the center of the room lay her most valuable treasures: glowing energy orbs, golden alien coins older than human history, a small cube that could control machines across planets. Usually, these items were sealed behind force fields and guarded by machines, but today, they were left open. No shields, no alarms, no guards inside the room. Only silence. Lady Zyra slowly walked around the treasures, her long cloak touching the floor. She raised her hand and waved away the last security drone. "Leave," she said calmly. The drone obeyed and flew out. Now the chamber was empty. Almost hidden behind a dark wall. Lady Zyra activated a secret viewing screen. She wanted to watch without being seen, because this was not a mistake. It was a test. She wanted to test the human. Many before him had failed. Alien guards had stolen small things. Some had tried to sell secrets. Others had looked loyal. Until power called their name. But humans were strange. They were weak in body, yes, but their minds, their hearts, those were still a mystery to her. She whispered to herself, "Let us see who you truly are, human." Outside the chamber, Ryan walked slowly toward the door. His boots made soft sounds on the metal floor. He had been called for a normal patrol. Nothing special, nothing strange, but as he reached the entrance, he stopped. The door was open. That alone was wrong. Ryan's hand moved near his weapon, but he did not draw it. He stepped inside quietly. The soft glow of the treasures lit his face. He froze. For a moment, he could not move. Even a human who knew little about alien wealth could tell this room held power beyond imagination. One crystal alone could buy a city. On Earth, Ryan took a slow breath. He looked around. No guards, no machines, no Lady Zyra, only him and the treasures. Somewhere behind the wall, Lady Zyra watched closely. Her eyes narrowed. She had seen this moment many times. The pause, the silence, the battle inside the mind. Would he reach out? Ryan stepped forward. One slow step. Then another. He stopped near a glowing orb that floated gently in the air. Its light reflected in his eyes. The orb pulsed softly, like a heart. He raised his hand. Lady Zyra leaned forward slightly. Her fingers tightened around the edge of the hidden screen. Now, she thought. Now we see. Ryan's hand came closer, just a little more. The orb reacted to his presence, glowing brighter. He could feel its power, warm, alive. For a second, even Ryan imagined what life could be like with such power. No more battles, no more orders, no more fear. He closed his eyes. Then, he pulled his hand back. Slowly, carefully. Ryan stepped away from the orb and turned his back to the treasures. He walked toward the control panel near the door. Lady Zyra's eyes widened. Ryan pressed a few buttons. A soft field of light appeared around the treasures, not as strong as the main shield, but enough to protect them. Then he activated a silent alarm, not loud, not dramatic, just a quiet message to the security system. He spoke in a low voice, as if someone might hear him. "These should not be left like this. It is dangerous." He looked around the empty room again. "I will stand here until Lady Zero returns." And he did. Ryan moved to the center of the room and stood like a wall between the door and the treasures, arms at his sides, eyes sharp, back straight. Behind the wall, Lady Zyra felt something strange, a feeling she had not known for many years. Relief. And something more. Respect. She whispered softly. He chose duty over desire. But she was not done yet. This was only the beginning. Real test had not started. And soon, she would step out of the shadows, and when she caught him, the fate of the human would change forever. Ryan stood in the treasure chamber like a silent statue. Minutes passed. Then more minutes. No one came. The soft light from the alien crystals painted long shadows across the walls. The station outside was busy, but inside this room, time felt frozen. Ryan did not relax. He did not sit. He did not look away. He had been trained for battle, not for temptation. Yet this moment was harder than any fight. Somewhere behind the hidden wall, Lady Zira watched him. She expected him to move, to grow bored, to leave, but he did not. After a long silence, she made her next move. A quiet sound echoed through the room. A soft crack. Ryan's head lifted. The shield he had activated flickered for a moment, then stabilized. His eyes narrowed. "That should not happen," he whispered. He walked closer to the control panel and checked the energy lines. Everything looked normal. Too normal. Suddenly, the room lights dimmed. Not fully dark, but enough to make shadows deeper. Ryan turned slowly in a full circle. "System report," he said. No answer. Lady Zara smiled faintly behind the wall. She had cut the system. Voice herself. Now the human was alone with his thoughts. A small door on the far side of the chamber slid open with a hiss. Ryan quickly moved between that door and the treasures. His hand rested near his weapon, but he did not draw it yet. From the dark door, a small shape appeared. A child-sized alien creature stepped out. It had large glowing eyes and thin arms. It looked weak, lost. Ryan's heart tightened. The creature looked at him with fear. "Mistress?" it whispered in a broken alien voice. Ryan did not move suddenly. He lowered himself slowly so he did not seem threatening. "Easy," he said gently. "You should not be here." The creature shook its head. "They said I can take one, just one, then I can leave this place." Ryan looked back at the treasures, then back at the creature. So this was part of the test. Lady Zero wanted to see more than loyalty to her. She wanted to see loyalty to values. Ryan stood up. "These items are dangerous," he said calmly. "They are not toys, and they are not gifts." The creature's eyes filled with tears. "I am weak. My people abandoned me. I need power." Ryan was silent for a moment. Then he walked slowly to the creature and knelt in front of it. "You do not need stolen power to survive," he said softly. "You need help, and I will help you without stealing." The creature stared at him. "You, a human, help without taking?" Ryan gave a small smile. "That is what humans do." Behind the wall, Lady Zyra's eyes widened again. No alien guard had ever spoken like that. Aliens believed power came first. Humans believed choice came first. Suddenly, alarms screamed across the chamber. Red light flashed violently. The shield around the treasures dropped completely. The doors began to close. Ryan spun around. This was not part of the small test. This was something bigger. The creature screamed and ran toward the treasures. Ryan moved fast. He caught the creature gently but firmly and pulled it back. "No," he shouted. "Stay behind me." The creature froze. The room shook slightly. A voice echoed through the chamber, not the system voice. Lady Zyra's voice. "Human. Now choose." Ryan looked around, Confused. The voice continued, calm but powerful. You can save the treasures. Or save the creature. You cannot do both. Ryan's eyes moved from the glowing treasures to the trembling creature behind him. He did not hesitate. He stepped in front of the creature and raised his weapon toward the ceiling. I choose to protect life, he said loudly, even if everything else is lost. The alarms stopped, the red lights faded, the shield returned. The creature vanished into thin air. A hologram. The chamber returned to silence. Ryan stood breathing heavily. Then, slow footsteps echoed behind him. Lady Zyra stepped out of the shadows. Her eyes were locked on him. Not cold, not cruel. But burning with something new. You failed to protect my treasures, she said slowly. Ryan turned and bowed his head slightly. I am sorry, my lady, he replied. But I will not apologize for choosing life. For a long moment, Lady Zyra said nothing. Then she smiled, a real smile. You did not fail, human, she said. You passed a test no one else ever could. And in that moment, Ryan realized this was not just about treasures. This was about what made humans dangerous. And different. The treasure chamber was quiet again, too quiet. Ryan still stood in the middle of the room, his breathing slow, his mind sharp. Lady Zyra watched him carefully, as if seeing him for the first time. You chose life over power, she said slowly. In my world, that is rare. Ryan did not raise his voice. I was trained to protect, not to measure worth by gold or crystals. Lady Zyra walked in a slow circle around him. Her long cloak flowed like dark water behind her. You know, she said calmly, most aliens would have grabbed the treasure first, then pretended to care about the creature. Ryan met her eyes without fear. Then most aliens are not human. She stopped. For a moment, neither spoke. Outside the chamber, the station continued its normal life. Ships docked. Merchants traded. Warriors trained. But inside this room, something important had changed. Lady Zyra finally turned away. You may go, she said. Ryan bowed slightly and left the chamber, but he did not know. The test was not private anymore. High above Velmer Prime, in a dark hall made of black stone and light, the alien council was watching. Tall figures sat on floating seats. Some had wings, some had scales, some had glowing eyes without faces. They had seen everything through hidden observers. A deep voice spoke. The human chose weakness over power. Another replied, sharp and cold. No, the human chose something we do not understand. A third voice, calm but heavy, said, if humans are like this, then they are not weak, they are dangerous. The council fell silent, because dangerous did not mean violent. It meant unpredictable. And in the galaxy, unpredictable beings could not be controlled. Back in the lower levels of the station, Ryan walked through the long corridors. Aliens moved aside as he passed, not because he was powerful, but because something about him now made them unsure. Some whispered, that is the human. The one who refused Lady Zyra's treasures. The one who chose a false creature over real power. Ryan did not hear most of this, but he felt the change. Eyes followed him. Not with hatred, with curiosity, and something close to fear. Later that cycle, Lady Zyra called Ryan to her private hall. It was not a place for guards. It was a place for trusted ones. Ryan stood at the entrance, waiting. You may enter, her voice said softly. Inside, the hall was wide and quiet, filled with soft blue light. Strange alien symbols floated in the air like slow-moving stars. Lady Zyra stood near a large window that looked out into space. Ryan approached but stopped at a respectful distance. You wanted to see me, my lady? She turned to face him. You saved my image today, she said. The council believes I am testing humans. They believe I am strong. Ryan remained silent. But strength, she continued, is not in testing others. It is in knowing what to trust. She stepped closer. For many years, I trusted no one. Not my guards, not my allies, not even my own kind. Ryan spoke gently. And now, she said quietly, I trust one human. The words were simple, but heavy. Ryan looked surprised, but he did not smile or celebrate. Instead, he bowed his head. I will not fail that trust. Lady Zira studied him. Do you know why the council fears humans? She asked. Ryan shook his head. Because humans fight with rules, she said. You stop when others fall. You protect even those who are not yours. You do not always choose. What is easy? She paused, and that makes you impossible to predict. She moved past him slowly. Tomorrow the council will send observers, she said. They want to see you again. They want to test humans through you. Ryan looked up. I am only one human. She smiled slightly. One human is enough when he stands for many. As Ryan left the hall, he felt something heavy in his chest. Not fear. Responsibility. He was no longer just a bodyguard. He was now a symbol. And symbols are dangerous things, because when they fall, many fall with them. High above in the cold halls of the council, a final voice spoke quietly. If humans can choose honor over power, then perhaps they are not meant to serve. And what then? Another asked. The first voice replied, then perhaps they are meant to lead. And far below, walking alone in a metal corridor, a single human carried the weight of that thought. Without ever asking for it, Ryan had not slept that cycle. Not because of fear, but because of thought. The words of Lady Zira stayed in his mind. The council will test you. When the message came, it was short and cold. Human Ryan Hawley. Report to the High Council arena. No greeting. No explanation. Ryan stood, adjusted his uniform, and walked out. Velmer Prime looked different now. Aliens no longer ignored him. They watched, some with interest, some with doubt, some with hidden anger. He felt no pride. Only calm. The High Council arena was not a place for guards. It was a place where champions failed and legends were broken. The doors opened slowly. Ryan stepped inside. The arena was wide and round, with floating platforms and dark space above. The council members sat high in the air, like silent stars watching below. A tall alien with crystal skin spoke first. Human, you have shown unusual behavior. Another voice followed, sharp like metal. You refused wealth. You chose a false life over real power. A third voice, deep and slow. Now we test what lies beneath that choice. A platform rose in front of Ryan. On it appeared a small alien cage. Inside was a real creature this time, wounded, weeding softly, not a hologram. A living being. The crystal-skinned alien spoke again. This creature is a criminal from a hostile world. If released, it will kill again. The sharp voice added, and if kept here, it will die slowly. Silence filled the arena. The deep voice spoke last. You may kill it, or you may free it and accept the danger. Ryan's fists slowly tightened. This was not about treasures anymore. This was about life and consequence. He stepped closer to the cage. The creature inside looked at him with fear, not hate, not rage. Fear. Ryan turned toward the council. You give me only two paths, he said calmly. Kill or release. Yes, the voices answered together. Ryan closed his eyes for a brief moment. Then he opened them. There's a third path, he said. The council shifted slightly. Ryan removed a small device from his belt and placed it on the ground. This is a human medical capsule, he said. It can heal wounds and sedate safely. He looked at the creature. I will heal it, he said. Then I will take it with me. A murmur spread through the arena. The crystal-skinned alien spoke sharply. You cannot control it. It will escape. It will kill. Ryan replied without raising his voice. Then I will stop it myself. Silence returned. You would risk your life for a criminal? The deep voice asked. Ryan nodded. I would risk my life for a chance at change. The sharp voice laughed coldly. You believe change is possible for all? Ryan looked up at the floating council. I believe no one is born only to die in chains. For a long moment, the council said nothing. Then the cage opened. Ryan walked forward slowly and placed the medical capsule inside. Soft light covered the wounded creature. Its breathing became steady. The bleeding stopped. Then Ryan lifted the creature carefully and held it in his arms. The creature did not fight. It simply looked at him. Confused. The council watched in complete silence. The deep voice finally spoke. Human, you carry danger in your hands. Ryan answered, so does every parent who raises a child. Some council members shifted uneasily because they had not expected that answer. You may go, the voice said. Ryan turned and walked out of the arena, carrying the healed creature with him, not as a prisoner, but as a responsibility. As he passed through the doors, whispers followed him. He chose mercy. He chose risk. He chose hope over control. And in the dark heights of the council, one final thought spread. Humans do not rule by fear. They rule by what they are willing to carry, and that was more powerful than any treasure. Ryan walked through the lower levels of Velmer Prime with the small alien creature in his arms. He did not hide it. He did not protect it with force. He simply carried it. That alone shocked. Many aliens stopped in their paths. Some stepped back. Some whispered. Some stared in silence. A human carrying a former enemy like a child. This was not normal in the galaxy. The creature slowly opened its eyes. It looked at Ryan and spoke in a weak voice. Why did you save me? Ryan answered softly, because someone once saved me too. The creature did not understand fully, but it felt something change inside. Across the station, the news spread faster than light, not through official channels, through whispers. Through looks, through silence. In a trader's hall, an old alien said, the human chose mercy over order. Another replied, mercy creates chaos. A third whispered, or a better kind of order. On distant worlds, screens showed images from the High Council arena, a human holding a wounded enemy instead of executing it. Some worlds laughed, some were afraid, some were inspired. For the first time in many cycles, humans were not being discussed as soldiers or workers. They were being discussed as leaders. In Lady Zyra's private hall, she watched the broadcast quietly. She did not smile. She did not frown. But inside her mind, something burned brighter. They will not be able to ignore him now, she said to herself. Later that cycle, she called Ryan again. He arrived with the small creature now walking beside him. Not chained, not forced, free. Lady Zyra looked at the creature first. You were meant to die, she said calmly. The creature lowered its head. But you live, she continued, because a human chose to carry your fate with his own. She turned to Ryan. You have changed the balance, she said. Ryan shook his head slightly. I only made a choice. Lady Zyra replied, in this galaxy, a single choice can shake empires. Outside Velmer Prime, reactions grew stronger. Some alien commanders began refusing orders to execute prisoners. Some young aliens started questioning old laws. Some rulers became afraid, because fear is easy to control. Hope is not. A dark fleet from the outer system sent a warning. Human behavior is dangerous. Contain them before they spread. For the first time, humanity was not feared for weapons, but for ideas. Ryan felt the weight of that without being told. Every step he took now was watched. Every choice echoed. Even the small creature sensed it. You carry storms behind you, it said one night. Ryan looked at the stars through a window. Storms. Clear the air, he replied. Then came the message that changed everything. A joint alien command requested a human representative. Not a general, Not a politician. Ryan Hull. Bodyguard. The meeting was held in a floating hall in deep space. Ryan entered alone. No weapons. Only his uniform. Alien leaders surrounded him. You have caused unrest, one said. You have weakened authority, said another. A third spoke calmly. You have given the galaxy a new question. Should power rule life, or should life rule power? Ryan answered without hesitation. Power without life is empty, he said. And life without choice is only survival. Silence followed. Then the calm voice spoke again. Human. You speak as if you carry your entire species with you. Ryan replied, I carry what humans believe, not what humans own. That answer shook many more than anger ever could. After the meeting, Ryan returned to Velmer Prime, but he was no longer just a bodyguard. He was now known across systems as the human who refused to be small. And somewhere in the dark edges of space, forces began to move, because when ideas become stronger than weapons, wars change shape, and Ryan, without ever asking for it, had started a new kind of war. The warning came without fire, without sound, without mercy. A black alien fleet appeared near Velmer Prime. No weapons active. No shields raised. Just silence. Their leader sent one message to the station. Send the human. If he survives our test, humanity may remain free. The galaxy held its breath. Lady Zira stood in her command hall, staring at the message. They want to break you, she said quietly to Ryan. Ryan nodded. They will try. You are not a soldier of war, she continued. You are a symbol. Symbols die first. Ryan looked at the stars beyond the glass wall. Then I will stand where they can see me. A small human ship left Velmer Prime alone. No escort. No weapons charged. Only Ryan inside. The Black Fleet opened a path. They guided his ship to a dead world called Karth Void, a planet of stone. Storms and ruins. The enemy leader appeared on screen. It had no face. Only a shifting shadow. You teach weakness, the voice said. You teach mercy. You teach rebellion, Ryan replied calmly. I teach choice. The shadow laughed softly. Then choose. The screen cut. Ryan's ship lost power and fell from the sky. It crashed into the stone. Desert. Fire. Smoke. Silence. Ryan crawled out, bleeding, his arm broken. Above him, alien ships floated like dark gods. A door opened in the sky. 3 massive alien warriors dropped down, each twice his height, each covered in living armor. They carried no weapons. Only their bodies. The shadow voice echoed. Survive until sunrise. No weapons, no help. Ryan struggled to his feet. He could barely stand. The first warrior charged. Ryan rolled aside. The ground shattered where the alien struck. Ryan used a broken metal rod from his ship, not as a weapon. As support to stand. The second warrior attacked. Ryan was thrown into a rock wall. His ribs cracked. He coughed blood, but he stood again. Why don't you kneel? The shadow asked. Ryan wiped blood from his mouth. Because humans don't kneel to monsters. The third warrior moved slowly. It waited. It wanted him tired. Hours passed. Ryan moved slowly. It waited. It waited. It wanted him tired. Hours passed. Fought. He ran. He hid. He stood. Every time he fell, he got back up. At sunrise, Ryan was barely alive. He stood on shaking legs. The 3 warriors lay broken on the ground. Not dead, but defeated. The shadow voice returned. You should be dead. Ryan answered softly. Humans survive what they shouldn't. The shadow was silent. Then it said, you win. The fleet vanished. Ryan collapsed. Far away, Velmer Prime received one last signal from his ship. Test passed. Humans still standing. Lady Zira fell to her knees, not in weakness. In relief. Across the galaxy, the message spread. Humans do not win by power. They win by refusing to fall. And every empire that heard it felt fear for the first time, because an enemy who will not kneel can never be owned. The stars above Velmer Prime were silent. No ships moved. No signals flashed. The entire station waited. Then, a weak human signal appeared on the screen. A small ship, damaged and slow, entered the system. It was Ryan, barely alive, but standing. When his ship docked, Lady Zero was already there. Behind guards, not behind walls. She stood alone at the landing bay. The door opened. Ryan stepped out slowly, supported by the wall. His uniform was torn, his face pale, but his eyes were still steady. Lady Zero walked toward him, for the first time since they met. She did not speak. She simply stood before him. Then she placed her hand over her chest, an ancient alien sign of respect. "You did not just survive," she said softly. "You taught the galaxy what survival truly means." Ryan gave a weak smile. "I only did what humans do when pushed." "Which is?" she asked. He looked up at the endless stars. "We refuse to become what breaks us." Word of his return spread like fire. Not fear. Hope. Alien leaders gathered again in the high council hall. But this time, they did not summon Ryan. They waited for him. Ryan entered slowly, still injured, still human. No weapons. No armor. Only will. The deep voice spoke again. "The human has passed every test." Another voice followed. "He chose life. He chose mercy. He chose strength without cruelty." The crystal-skinned alien said, "We cannot control humans, and now we know. We should not try." Silence fell. Then the deep voice said the words that changed history. "From this day forward, humanity will not serve empires. Humanity will stand among them. Not above. Not below. Among. The galaxy had never done this before. A species that rose, not by force, but by refusal to fall." Outside the hall, young aliens whispered, "Humans are strange. They are small. But when tested, they become giants." Ryan left the council quietly. He did not seek praise. He did not seek statues. He returned to Velmer Prime. To Lady Zero. She waited for him in the same hall where their journey had truly begun. "The galaxy sees you as a hero now," she said. Ryan shook his head. "I was never alone. Humans are like this. I just happened to be here." Lady Zero smiled. "For many cycles I believed power was the highest truth," she said. "But you showed me something stronger." "What is that?" Ryan asked. She looked at him. "Trust." From that day, humans were no longer called weak. They were called the unbroken. Not because they never fell, but because they always rose. And somewhere in the vast dark of space, 1,000 alien children would one day hear stories about a human bodyguard who stood between power and life, and chose life, not because he was told to, but because he could, and that was humanity's greatest strength.